So, what are we doing? Well, one of the most popular videos of this year of mine was should you play EVE Online, or why you should play EVE Online in 2023, and some tips, I think is what it was called. I am the best at the YouTube thumbnails and names. Either way, there was this idea that I should remake it for 2024. What I thought I would do is today we would do some recording potentially that could be used for that theoretical future should you play EVE in 2024 or starting out EVE in 2024 type video, because I'm going to start where you're at. Okay, the scenario is that, you know, I just got a brand new computer for Christmas, and now I've gotten a chance to play like this EVE Online. I haven't been able to play it before, but now I'm getting into it, and I've got my free-to-play account. So I want to see how far I can get during this period of time, however long I end up getting, seeing how much I can get done with that account, and hopefully distilling as much advice for the brand new pilot, the pilot that's in that scenario, that now is the time that it is your first time ever stepping foot into this world of New Eden. I'm here with you, and we're going to go through it step by step, starting from character creation. Is that exciting? I'm actually legitimately excited by this. And I have a list of, so like I have things that I want to show off, make sure to show off, you know, we're going to do some Geet exploration. I want to talk about Jita in the market. So, but I kind of want you guys to help me create my character. So I was thinking I should be Mimitar, just because like, if I do faction warfare, I was thinking about doing the Angel Cartel stuff, but I'm open to some ideas, right? Like, I guess I could go with Caldari because a lot of people go with Caldari. Those of you with emotes can emote the organization or the corporation I should focus on. Living in Amar and being far from Cheetah. I think that Caldari is probably the most. A lot of my alts end up being Caldari, Gallente Master Race. I mean, we all know that Gallente is the correct answer, but let's be serious. A lot of people go Caldari, so we'll go Caldari too. Actually, no, you know what? I wanted to start with this, because here's the question. You know, we talk about how players need to learn stuff from from other players, but we're so bad at giving advice, okay? Here's the question that almost every new player asks, and this is your opportunity to give them good advice. And that question is, what race should I play? And what will you be told? You'll be told, or you'll tell them, it doesn't matter. And that is true, okay? Like objectively true. At one point, we were trying to figure out like a Praxis build for somebody, or like for a Day Zero Alpha. No, it wasn't even a Praxis. It was a Ferox. We were building our Day Zero Ferox PvP build. And I wanted to get the best clone we could possibly get for somebody with the 1 million free SP, you know, how we could build the best Ferox pilot from Go, right? With nothing else. Cool. That was the goal. And when they came back to me with the skill plan, it was racial agnostic. And I was like, no, like there has to be a best race, right? Like, is it Gallente or Caldari or, you know, I don't know what it is. And they came back to me and they showed me that the difference in training between like an Amar totally off what you're going for and a Caldari was like literally less than an hour. So it's like, okay, whatever, fine. It's all the same. So mechanically speaking, it does not matter. There are some cosmetic choices, although a lot of those cosmetic choices have been kind of loosened up a little bit. So the big reasons why you'd want to choose one race over another is more or less where you want to start out and who you want to be, like almost like an RP sort of thing. You do start out with the skills, but you also start out with standings that are friendly towards the race that you start with. If you're joining a group that does Caldari missions in HiSec or whatever, or whatever in HiSec, Caldari space, then choosing Caldari isn't a terrible idea. But we're not even going to worry about that because we're going to actually look at the 4 races and what they are and who they are and why you might want to pick them. So we're going to start with the Mimitar. So the Mimitar come from the planet Matar, which is in the solar system of Pator. And they were once these 7 tribes that lived on this planet before the Amar showed up and invaded their territory and enslaved their race. And about 130 years ago or so, the Mimitar rebelled, and about 40% of the Mitari people have now been liberated and have joined together in the Mimitar Republic. That means that a full 60% of them are still enslaved. The ships of the Minmatar generally focus on flexibility and speed, however, are ostensibly shield-oriented. They use projectile weapons. Projectile weapons are the opposites of lasers in the fact that they have a very short optimal range, but long fall-off, so they're going to be able to hit things really well. The short-range weapons can hit things very, very well and will hit for a long range, and the closer you are to them, the more damage they're going to do. They're very good consistent damage, although they have all kinds of different ammo that balances damage type and range, so they're a little bit more complicated when it comes to ammo selection and such. The long-range version, the artillery, are the slowest cycling and therefore highest alpha or front-loaded damage in the long-range weapon category. Their politics, they are at war with the Amar the Amar Empire, who are have over 60% of the Matari people still enslaved. And the thorn in their side is a group called the Angel Cartel, which is a pirate group that is effectively an empire in their own right, that are basically criminal for the sake of it, if that makes sense. They are very much deal with criminal activities and kind of make a mockery of the Republic's attempt at governance. The Amar are the slavers. They are a group of highly religious individuals who believe that their mandate comes from God, that they are the chosen. They are the few that have remained true when the rest of the cluster fell from grace before time immemorial. And as such, they are responsible to reclaim the world and bring all else under the empire of Amar. Needless to say, this is concerning to a lot of the other empires. Their pirate enemy is the Blood Raiders, who are a fanatical group of people who believe that, so in the Amar, they believe that it is their blood that gives them purity. It's blood right type ideas. The Blood Raiders take that to the next step and say that blood itself is sacred and it's the path towards godhood. And so the Blood Raiders are a group of these cultists that have been banded together by this one dude and now raid installations and ships and stuff and drain people of blood in order to cover their ships and do their rituals. The Amar ships are armor based. They're very much about having heavy resistances and lots of hit points, and their weapon system is lasers. Lasers have very good optimal range with a very short fall off, so they can shoot for a long ways, and they're pretty accurate, but then they quickly lose efficacy after that. The big thing about lasers are that all of their ammo does EM and thermal damage because it's a laser. However, they can quickly swap what crystals they're using, which is their ammo, in order to make sure that they can hit well regardless of the range, right? They've got long range crystals and short range crystals, and they can switch out very, very quickly and easily. They also don't consume ammo in the same way that a lot of other ships are. So their weapon systems are extremely flexible in everything besides the type of damage they do. They also have the secondary weapon system of both drones and missiles, depending on which direction you go. They're the only race that has access to basically both secondary weapon systems pretty effectively. The Gallente, they are the only democracy of New Eden with all of the perks and negatives that a democracy entails. They once were united with the Caldari state. The Caldari and the Gallente actually both come from the same solar system. The Gallente helped uplift the Caldari from the Iron Age to the Space Age, however, attempted to basically impose their culture upon them. The Caldari responded very negatively, and while the Gallente failed in governance, the Caldari began increasingly relying on mega corporations that eventually took over their government, and they rebelled, causing a war between the Gallente and the Caldari, whose peace occurred about 130 years ago. They have a large area with loosely connected districts. They have a lot of internal politics because of this, and the Senate and all that sort of stuff. But they are the democracy. They are for freedom, ostensibly. The Serpentis Corporation is their pirate organization. Basically, the Serpentis Corporation comes from a Galentian family who got into the drug trade, and then the government tried to make them illegal in order to take them out of business, and the son made a criminal empire out of it, and so now we have the Serpentis Corporation, which are, the drug and pharmaceutical research and development. The Caldari, as I said, they are controlled by a series of 8 mega corporations that kind of officiate their day-to-day life. They believe very much in your position, duty to the state, meritocracy kind of tradition. The 8 different mega corporations are in active competition with each other with shifting alliances and such. They are by far kind of the most scientifically adept of all of them. While the Gallente were advanced, at first the Caldari more than overtook the Gallentians, and their, say what you will for authoritarianism, it is very productive. So they end up on the forefront of a lot of technological advances. Their pirate organization is the Guristas, which are they're the pirates' pirate. So the Guristas do a lot of black market deals, treachery. They one-up each other on the biggest heist. One of the things that they're most known for is kidnapping this diamond mogul and ransoming him for a king's ransom, which is, in fact, one of their ships have a skin based on that. So the Gallente and the Caldari are kind of interesting. With the Amarr and the Minmatar, lasers and hybrids are almost inverse of each other. Or sorry, projectiles. Projectiles take no capacitor, have a really short optimal and a really long fall off, whereas lasers take up the most amount of capacitor, but have the longest optimal and shortest fall off, and pretty accurate. Then the Gallente and the Caldari actually use the same weapon system. They both utilize hybrid weapons, and hybrids are the most extreme. Their short-range weapon is the shortest range. The long-range weapon is the longest range. They take up a little bit of capacitor. The short-range weapon is highly accurate. It's basically the shotgun of Eve, whereas the long-range weapon is very hard to track. It's basically like a sniper rifle looking through the sniper scope. They're valuable in their different ways. However, it is their secondary weapon system that makes them different. The Gallente go strong into drones, which are like automated combat or utility tools that you can deploy out external to your ship, and they can fight enemies and do other things, mine, logistics, whatever. They are a very flexible weapon platform in the fact that you could, depending on which drones you use, determines how much damage they are, how fast they are, and what type of damage they do. Damage selection is really powerful in this game, but they are themselves vulnerable, right? You can attack and destroy drones. You can't attack and destroy turrets or missiles. I know there's somebody's like, actually, but we're going to go with that. Missile systems are also highly flexible in the fact that they can change their damage, but they operate very differently than turrets. While turrets require tracking and care about optimal and the speed that the opponent is going around you, missiles don't care. They only care about how big the thing is and how fast it's going compared to your missile. While turrets can miss or hit and do like crit damage and stuff, missiles are formulaic. They will always do an exact amount of damage based on the comparison between the missile stats and the target stats at moment of impact. So they're very reliable, but it doesn't have as many highs. The turrets have a higher chance of damage potential often than missiles. And then, of course, the Minmatar and the Caldari are more shields oriented. There's a lot to do with the difference between shields and armor. If you want to know more about this stuff, I have a full master course about all different kinds, like everything that you need to know to consider when it comes to fitting. It's the fitting master course, part 1 and part 2. It's only 6 hours long. There are chapters. You can check it out on the YouTube video. But for now, we're going to jump into it. I think we decided we were going to go with Caldari. A lot of people go with Caldari. Caldari is where the center of trade is. And missiles are by far kind of not by far, but like, it's easy to say that missiles are this superior PvE weapon system. So especially as a new player, missiles make a lot of sense. And the Caldari makes some of the best newbie-friendly ships in the game. So we're going to go with that. Rockets are dope for PvP. All right, so we're going to go with Caldari. So as far as with all 4 of the races, there are actually 3 sub-races. And honestly, there are more sub-races than these. These are just the ones that you get to have access to. Like, there are 7 tribes of the Minmatar, but there's only 3 that you can make characters for. There's 5 families. 6 families for the Amarr. And there's at least 1. Manar. Malek. I came up with it right as it popped up. The Gallente are the original, like, planet. And they're a very populous planet. They're the ones who lifted up the Caldari. and kind of have gone up and liberated empires ever since.
Content for 2024.
The Yinmei are a more recent addition. They actually just came out of a civil war. There's a ton of conspiracy about that, or at least things that stem out of some of the later details of that. I talk about it in my lore speedrunner video. And in the Yantey, oh man, the Yantey. So the Yantey are a very independent group of the Caldari, of the Gallente, that there's a lot of concern when it comes to the system of Yantey, and in fact the Yantey Syndicate, which are a kind of a defecting group of Yantey in Nullsec. Again, the lore speedrun will be probably pretty useful for you in that one. There are more Minmatar living in the Federation than in the Republic. So the Caldari lived on these 4 different continents on this one planet. And so there's different Caldari subgroups within the Caldari. There's the Sivir, which are the highly competitive. They thrive under chaotic circumstances and frantic activity. The Artura, which are in the spiritual center. Like, they have a very almost Japanese spiritualism about them. And the Dedis, with sharp, ordered mind and articulate tongues, they have the responsibility of upholding the integrity of the Caldari state their own. So yeah, we are going to go Akara, like the car. Akara. I'm not sure if I know how to pronounce the car right. Let's go with an Akara.